Hello, and welcome to Kaylin's Book Nook. Today, a little bit of a different background because I wanted to sit in this chair, and usually, I usually film like slightly to the left here on the floor in front of the window, and my knees cannot handle it. I'm an old lady, okay? But today I wanted to talk about all the books that I got in May. I have quite a few here. Have read some of them. She's kind of good at that. Not really. It's a lot of books, okay? Sometimes I look at the amount of books that I bought in 1 month and I'm like, oh, it's a lot of books. But you know what? Who cares? That's my form of self-care. We have our No Mourner shirt on. Have I even read Crooked Kingdom? No. Do I remember anything from Six of Crows? Not really. But you know what? That's okay. It's the kind of day we're having today. I have a vlog, hopefully, coming in a week or so. I'm getting a puppy tonight. So it's kind of the only thing on my mind. And I probably need to save some money. So I might need to stop buying as many books. But let's get into it. So the first one I have, Aggie Morton, Mystery Queen, The Body Under the Piano by Marth Jocelyn. Not sure how you would pronounce her last name. Honestly, saw this on Book Outlet for a couple of dollars, and my best friend's name is Aggie, and I know that this is supposed to be based off of Agatha Christie. And that's like the only reason that I bought it. I think it's a middle grade. Oh, this is so cute. We have little pictures inside. You can tell I really didn't super look at this book. Oh my God, there's more. Cute. Oh, there she is herself. But yeah, really only got this because my best friend's name is Aggie. It looked cute, and there are a couple books in this series. I think it's a middle grade. I don't know if I already said that. Speaking of kind of children's books, we'll get these out of the way. If you've seen my other book haul, I have a not huge, but I have a lot of Nancy Drew and Hardy Boy books, and so I got some more. So, but when they're only a couple dollars, what's it matter? So we have Mystery of the Moss-Covered Mansion, number 18. Nancy Drew and the Clue in the Crumbling Wall, number 22. Sorry. Mystery at the Ski Jump, 29. That hand is freaking terrifying. It's giving, what's that guy's name? Freddy Krueger? No. Yes. I'm not sure. That mystery man. I can picture his face. Either way, spooky. Oh, this one's really scary. The Clue of the Velvet Mask, number 30. That is a little frightening. A little frightening. The Witch Tree Symbol, number 33. The Haunted Showboat, number 35. And The Arctic Patrol Mystery, which is a Hardy Boys book. Mostly just nostalgic reads. Don't even know the last time I read one of my Nancy Drew or Hardy Boy books, but I think it was at least this year. Not sure when. But moving along, we have the first book that I have read here in the stack, and that is The Night in Question by Kathleen Glasgow and Liz Lawson. This one we are following, so this is a sequel to the Agathas. We're following two girls, Iris and Alice. Confusing names. I talk about this more in my wrap-up, but in my wrap-up I gave it 3.5 stars. I have since listened to the audiobook, and I am going to round it up to a 4. I think a 4 is pretty fair. I did enjoy it in the audiobook narration versus I originally got it as a NetGalley ebook, so that was kind of hard to slog through, but that's okay. In this one, we are following both the girls after or at a Sadie Hawkins dance, and a fellow classmate gets stabbed, and she ends up having to be put into a medical induced coma, otherwise she's gonna die. And so because of the coma, she's not able to tell us what happened, and so the two girls are kind of trying to figure it out. Pretty fun. I will say, I think I said this in my last one, but the first cover of this, a lot cuter than this cover, but that's okay. We have another book off my TBR. It also came onto my TBR in the same month. Besides the point, there's a couple other books here that also came onto my TBR after I'd already read it, or not onto my TBR because I had already read them, but I bought them after I had read them. The next one here, I have been eyeing for a while now. I think it came out in January, but I just never super picked it up until I was at Barnes & Noble and they had buy one, get one 50% off, I'm pretty sure. So, The Black Queen by Jumada Emil, I think. I looked up the author's name and now I can't remember how to pronounce it. In this one, look at that cover. I mean, not so much the blood, but the girl herself, she is stunning. This one, I can already tell you, is going to be a heavily racism talking about book, or a book talking about racism. This one we're following two different girls. One of them, I think this girl, I'm assuming because she's got blood on her face, she is crowned the first Black homecoming queen at this school, and I think it's the same night, ends up getting killed. Yeah, murdered the same night. And then they find her in an old slave cemetery, so that's yikes. And I think we are following her best friend who is trying to prove that this one white girl killed her. And then we're also following the white girl who was supposed to be crowned the queen, but wasn't for some reason. And she's trying to prove her innocence. So it's a thriller, a YA thriller, so I don't think it's going to get super crazy, but I think it's going to be similar to The Weight of Blood and Carrie. The Weight of Blood by Tiffany D. Jackson. I read that last year. Pretty good. Would recommend. But definitely trigger warnings for racism. I also saw trigger warnings for child abuse. Haven't read it yet, but just in case you guys pick this up, just know trigger warnings for those two things. Moving along into something a little bit happier, we have Eva Evergreen and the Cursed Witch by Julie Abe. This is the sequel to Eva Evergreen, the Semi-Magical Witch. This one is basically a continuation of the first one. In the first one, we are following Eva. She is a semi-magical witch. She doesn't have as much powers as she should at her age. And when witches are 12, I think it is, they have to, they get like assigned to some town or village, and they have to go like do a good deed in that town. They have like a month or something to be there. And she goes there, and she doesn't have a ton of powers, but she sets up this like cute little shop where she helps fix things with the small amount of magic that she does. And then something kind of crazy happens at the end that goes into this book, and I think she has to defend either her home village or the village that she like spent the last month in. I'm not 100% sure, but I did give the first one 5 stars. I thought it was super cute, middle grade, very similar to A Pinch of Magic, if you like that, or Nevermore. That's the other one. But yeah, super excited for this one. I think it'll be a pretty quick read because it's a middle grade. So next, let me say, I've claimed I am not a historical fiction girly. Okay, I tell lots of people that, even though I have lots of historical fiction books that I do like and have given 4 or 5 stars. With that being said, every time I had heard of this book, I thought, oh, it's historical fiction, I'm not gonna like it. But then Kayla reads it, Kayla talks about it in a vlog, and I said, oh, I'm picking that up. I'm picking that up, just like everyone else. I think Kayla makes a video about a book saying how good it is, and all of a sudden, the books are flying off the shelf. I tell you, she really is good for marketing. We have Last Night at the Telegraph Club by Melinda Lowe. This one, obviously from my little tangent I went on, is a historical fiction following this girl, I think in the 1950s. There's no way to be able to tell. 1954. And our main character is a lesbian or is discovering if she's a lesbian, something like that. She's queer of some sort, I think. Because they're like about to kiss on the cover. Cuties! But obviously 1954 isn't the best time to be gay. Yeah, so it does have a Stonewall award there. So it's probably not going to be super happy, but I think it'll be a good read. Oh, my bad. Keeping up, I'm like dropping books everywhere. Keeping up with the LGBT theme, I also picked up this month Genderqueer by Maya Kobabe. I talked about this one in my May wrap up as well because I did read this one. In this one, we are following Maya as he kind of goes on a journey of figuring out, like, who am I, what's my sexuality, and kind of figuring out that E is genderqueer. E uses the pronouns em, er. So, very different perspective if you haven't read from that. And I also like this because it is graphic novel format, which I think is a really fun way to read a memoir. This is a cute picture just to give you some of the some examples, because for me a graphic novel has everything to do with the pictures. This one, gave it 5 out of 5 stars, cried a lot during it, would highly recommend. Next, we have What Doesn't Kill You by Tessa Miller, A Life with Chronic Illness, Lessons from a Body in Revolt. This is a nonfiction, I don't know if memoir is necessarily the right word, but definitely a nonfiction about Tessa kind of talking about being diagnosed with Crohn's disease, and it sounds like for her it was a very traumatic experience. She kind of went through a lot of misdiagnosing, I think, first, and then she just kind of talks about like what it's like living with chronic illness and how you can it's never gonna be cured. You could be like in remission and you could be at a good point in your life, but it's never gonna be cured. You're always gonna have it. So I think this is gonna be kind of a hard read, but I think it'll be a good one. I also think the cover is just stunning. Oh my God, that's beautiful. That is so beautiful. I remember whenever this came out in like 2021, I saw it at Barnes & Noble just sitting on the shelf, and I thought, oh, that's so beautiful. I'm gonna add it to my Goodreads. But back then I didn't just buy books the way I buy books now. I was much more frugal, and mostly only bought books from Goodwill. But then I added this to my Goodreads, and I've never taken it off because I just always thought one day I'm gonna read that. And then I saw it on Book Outlet, and I said, I should pick that up. I should pick it up, and I did. Also in that same order, The Dead in the Dark by Courtney Gould. This one I will be talking more in my June wrap-up because I just finished it a couple of days ago. I won't give any spoilers. I said I'm not going to give any spoilers, but then I like kind of told you my rating. But this was an okay read for me. I think I don't know if it's because I was listening to the audiobook and I don't know if I missed something. I just kind of felt like this. I don't know. In this one, we're following two girls, Ashley and Logan. Logan's has two dads, and they both own or like are part of this kind of like Ghost Hunters TV show type of situation, type of deal. And they end up moving back to Snake by Oregon, which is the hometown of the two dads. And I don't think the daughter's ever been there before. And she meets Ashley, and then kids start going missing and like dying, and so they're trying to figure out what's going on. I think, like paranormal. Yeah, like I said, it was okay. For a debut, I'm excited to see what Courtney does next. Yes. Another book that I bought after I read it because it was so freaking good. Act Your Age, Eve Brown by Talia Hibbert. 5 out of 5 stars. Great ending to a trilogy series, a romance series. This is an adult romance. We are following Eve Brown as she kind of needs to grow up and get a job and like move out, get her own place type of thing. But when she goes to interview at this bed and breakfast, she ends up leaving the interview and like running over the owner of the bed and breakfast and breaks his arm. I think it was his arm. Maybe, yeah, I think it was his arm. I read it over a month ago now. But, and then her and the man fall in love. Autism rep, which is great. Was not expecting that. I just love Eve as a character. I thought this book was super good. I have the other 2 books, hence why I went and picked it up after I had already finished it. Next, probably the biggest book I own / will ever own, because I don't know what other series is going to put me through this to buy this big of a book. Do you see that? Let's do comparison. This is Act Your Age, Eve Brown. And one thing about me, I am not a long book girly. I'm not. But for, what do they even call their freaking group? It's going to drive me crazy. The Athena Club. I think the Athena Club. We have European Travel for the Monstrous Gentlewoman by Theodore Goss. This is the 2nd book following The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter. I read that one in May, and then shortly after went to Barnes & Noble and was looking for this one but couldn't find it. And then my partner found it. And tell me why I looked at it and I went, what the hell? Why is it so big, you guys? Why is it so big? It's literally like 700. It's 700 pages. I'm so nervous. I don't even know what is going on in this book. But in case you haven't read the first one, in that one we're following Mary Jekyll, who is the daughter of Dr. Jekyll. And Sherlock Holmes is there. Watson's there. There's a couple other girls from other things. In this one, we are dealing with Van Helsing's, I'm assuming, daughter, because all of them are daughters. But the Athena Club is going to go save her. I don't know, there has to be more in this book than that, because I don't know how it takes that long just to save one girl when you saved like 3 or 4 in like half the amount of time of the last book. But that's okay. Oh my god, the words are also very small, I feel like. It's fine. Definitely going to use the audiobook, and I'm sure the audiobook is like freaking 25-30 hours, but that's fine. Up next, we have a couple of summer reads I'm excited to get to. First one being Out of the Blue by Jason June. This one we're following a non-binary merfolk person as they have to help a human and they fake date and fall in love, and I think it's gonna be super cute. Like, the cover alone is screaming poolside beachy read, you know. Yeah, I don't know much else besides that, but haven't read anything by Jason June yet, but excited to get to this one, as well as the Firefly Summer by Morgan Matson. This is so adorable. I thought I had talked about this in my April wrap up because I feel like I bought it so long ago, but I must have gotten it like shortly after making that video. Look at the back, is so cute too. I haven't read any Morgan Matsons yet. I do own Take Me Home Tonight. Is that even written by her? Oh my god, that would be really embarrassing if it wasn't. I think it is. I own it, but I haven't read it yet. In this one, we are following Rihanna Stewart, and I think her mom died, and then her mom's grandparents invite her to come like on a summer trip with the family, and I don't think these are like all her cousins, I believe, I think, and I don't think she super has a relationship with them or has met them yet. And this also has a scavenger hunt, so I'm super excited about that. But yeah, another one. I hope I get to this one sooner rather than later because I think this is going to be a great summer read. All right, we only have a couple of books left. The next one I have here is Ellie Engel Saves Herself by Leah Johnson. This is Leah Johnson's first middle grade. She has also written 2 other young adult books, I believe, and I think I've read both of them, if I'm not mistaken. You Should See Me in a Crown. I don't remember what the other one is, but I think, oh yeah, Rise to the Sun. I've read that one too. This one, we are following Ellie as she gets superpowers. There is this dramatic earthquake that never happens in the town that she lives in. I'm dropping books. Oh my gosh. All right. We are following Ellie as she, there's an earthquake in her town. Very abnormal for them. She ends up getting superpowers as a result. She can like bring things back to life, like plants. She can grow things, etc., etc. And she is kind of dealing with that and like, how do I tell people I have these powers? Should I hide them? Should I show people? You get it. But she also has a crush on her best friend, who's a girl. So that's also discussed, which I thought for a middle grade, discussing like sexuality like that was done very well. I gave this 4.5 stars, if I didn't say that. It was a very good read. I would highly recommend this to middle grade aged kids, and adults, but you get my point. Yeah, I think the representation in this was done super well, and the cover is super cute. And under the dust jacket, it's like exactly the same, which is really cute, especially for kids, because you know how they can be with a dust jacket. Also in the middle grade category, we only have a few books here left. We have Witchlings 2, The Golden Frog Games by Claribel A. Ortega. 5-star read. I also read this in May. I read the first one last year when it came out. That one was also 5 stars. In this series, we are following Seven, Valley, and Thorn. Yeah, that's all their names. I don't even need to check because I know. Seven is the main character. We're following like her voice, and her friends Valley and Thorn, all 3 of them are considered witchling spares when they are doing the like sorting hat. I don't want to quote that, but you know what I'm saying, when they're all being sorted into the groups they're going into. The girls they don't get put into like any of the sorority fraternity type of places. They get put as spares, which is like, you don't want to be a spare because that's considered bad, which is what I like about this book and the first book, is that it kind of talks about like how being different is a good thing, and how you don't want to necessarily do all the same stuff that your best friend does, or that, you know, your idol does, etc., etc. I think the politics in this super good, discussed very well, especially for a middle grade. This one I really liked because the name Golden Frog Games, there is like a game situation to it. And I also just like watching Seven kind of grow up. I think this one's Seven right here. I think she's just so cute. I think she's all 3 of them. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know which one's Valley and which one's Thorn, because I think the ones I think in my head, I think it's switched, but this one's for sure Seven. Something happened at the end of book 1 that kind of takes a big chunk of this book, and she gets a lot of pressure put on her, and I think she handles it very well. And I think it's good for, you know, little kids to see that. I also think that's adorable. I love the art. I do have one tab in here. I wonder... Oh, I did not know this, but I did, like, I highlighted things in here. Oh my god, I did not Yay! I do not remember doing that, but now that I read that, I do remember that one of the girls ends up getting like a little crush on a girl, so that was really cute too to see in that. Last kids book here, second to last book, Taylor Swift, Little Golden Book. Not much to say about this, except I love Taylor Swift, and I'm going to see her next Saturday. I'm a Swiftie. I love her. And to wrap up this book haul, we have one of my favorite books of this year, maybe of all time. Maybe, I mean, not my favorite book of all time, but it's up there. It's definitely going to be on my recommendations. Look how many tabs it got. Crying in H Mart. Crying in H Mart by Michelle Zauner. This is a super emotional, moving memoir. We are following Michelle as she is dealing with her mom getting cancer and then later in the book dying. So, heavy trigger warning for grief, cancer, death of a parent, anticipatory grief, the works. Usually I don't like to pick up books about grief just because I feel like it's puts a damper on things, but I had such a good cry, multiple good cries while reading this. I would definitely recommend picking it up, especially if you're trying to read more nonfiction, if you want to, you know, kind of hear someone else's perspective on anticipatory grief. I think the way it was discussed was, I mean, not that Michelle's not a perfect person. No one's a perfect person. And obviously she doesn't do everything the right way. But the way that she talked about things, I think was super well, and that she could, like, after the fact identify, like, hey, I probably didn't handle this in the best manner. She also has a very tenuous, stressful, strained relationship with her mom. So reading that was also kind of difficult. But like I said, I would highly recommend. And there you have it. That is a lot of books, especially for 1 month, but that's just how your girl does it. So I cannot, there's no way I can hold up all these books, but I can try. I can try to hold up some of them. They're all messed up anyway, so what's the point? Anyway, thanks for watching. Sorry it was a little bit more of a chill, sit down, relax video. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and let me know what you picked up this month or in the last month. And let me know what you're reading right now, because right now I am reading 2 different books, both gay for Pride Month, that I will talk more about in my June wrap up. Have a good day. Over and out.